So here we are on Belshir. Currently, this game tied 1-1. Very exciting, very tense. ZvZ in an ace match is not ever what you want, because one lucky baneling hit can really make all the difference. Spawning down in the bottom right hand position though, as the teal Zerg, representing VP BenQ, it's sLivko. And his opponent up in the top left, the red Zerg from Team Acer, it's Nerchio. Recap time is definitely on the cards, assuming nothing crazy goes down. Game number 1 saw both players play very passively, both rushing up to lair, both getting down their spires first, until Nerchio decided, do you know what, let's get some lings and banelings and go and try and punish a third base from sLivko. Except he didn't go to the third, he just walked up into the natural, got an amazing baneling hit on all of sLivko's defensive speedlings in one, and then it was pretty much GG from there, as all of the drones pretty much died. Game number 2 was slightly different. Nerchio, maybe getting slightly overconfident, went for a very aggressive play. Lots of lings, lots of banelings, and he just went to try and end it out fast. Unfortunately for Nerchio though, sLivko scouted nice and early, and therefore threw down the triple evolution chamber wall off at his natural base. Chucked down 2 spines, had queens there, and defended with ease. He then got down his roach warren, took some more gases, placed a Nidus network, and went on the offensive with some roaches. He had so many out. He had the queens there for the transfuses, reinforcements streaming through the Nidus worm, and Nerchio was just unable to hold, despite the fact that he saw it coming. Game number 3 though, and for the moment these two playing relatively safe. Nerchio opened up spawning pool first, but then into a hatch, then the gas. Previous games he went spawning pool insta gas to get speed out first. Meanwhile, sLivko getting his pull down first once again into his hatchery. So both these two following similar builds. The key difference being that Nerchio will have speed down slightly quicker, having that gas, but as a result, sLivko is going to have a few more drones and a bit more minerals just in order to spend on queens and such. So again, it's not a crazy game at the moment, both being cautious, and it's the right thing to do to be cautious in game 3 in a ZvZ, because things can go very wrong. If your opponent happens to go for an early pull against you and you've got a hatch first, you're not going to be too happy about that in a single elimination bracket. But what we've got coming down is pretty much the norm. Nerchio's still scouting out with a pair of Zerglings. I like this. I like the fact that he's just trying to get as much information as possible, because all he's seen so far is that there's a hatchery down. The queen from sLivko wandering on forward. Not quite sure where that was going off to. Maybe going to try and get an overlord if there was one there. But good move by sLivko, pulling the lings with the queen too, just in case anything came along. So this is where things just go into heavy drone mode. Both players feel safe, neither player looking to do too much damage. sLivko's still not taking any gas, which is a really cool build. He's getting a lot more queens though to compensate for that. Unfortunately, unlike on Frost, you can't just go for a triple evolution chamber wall off here and be absolutely safe. So he's got to be cautious that really Nerchio isn't going for anything too aggressive. A ling will scout in though to see that speed is on its way by the shimmering of the spawning pool, and there's still 3 drones in gas. What he didn't see though was the baneling nest. Now there's one of 2 ways this could go for Nerchio, aggressive or defensive, but considering there's 10 lings in production, I'm suspecting he's going to try and go on the attack. That's great if he can take out some of these juicy drones, but if he's unable to deal any damage, well, that's obviously a lot of lings, and that could have been a decent number of drones there. 13 lings out, so that could have been 7 drones, unless this does some more damage. Nerchio sitting back at home, got the spine crawler coming up, got 2 lings waiting there. They can morph into banelings if required, but Nerchio's baneling nest nearly finished. sLivko keeping an overlord, just chilling here, but plenty of room to get out. The triple evolution chamber wall off with the queen block coming down, but it's harder to do on Belshir because of the fact that lings can get a better surround. There's a gap in the wall of queens, and 3 Zerglings speed into the main base. Luckily for sLivko, those 3 lings isn't the scariest thing in the world. Not even managing to get a single drone kill there. Very frustrating for the Acer player. And now if we take a look at the worker count, sLivko significantly ahead there, 46 to 36. However, Nerchio does have 9 drones on the way that will quickly level that out. Lair timings have been revealed, both players getting their lair down, but Nerchio significantly quicker in doing that. So that means he's got options to go up into the spire sooner. Note sLivko hasn't actually scouted it down, so he isn't aware of if there's a lair yet for Nerchio or not. We'll probably assume there isn't due to having that Zergling pressure so early. I'm not even sure if sLivko has managed to see any of the gas timings. No, he hasn't, so he doesn't know that Nerchio's up on those 4 gases or that his spire could be on its way down. What he does know though is that the third hatch is there, so he responds with his own third. Nerchio though, with good overlord placement, sees it and is now prepared. Queens and roaches moving across the map, and roach speed coming down here for sLivko, who's also getting down his infestation pit. The problem is though, if he's unable to deal with these Mutalisks, they can just start tearing up the map. The Mutalisks will without doubt give an absolutely amazing amount of map control, because there's just no real response to how mobile and agile Mutalisks are in ZvZ. So, very different strategies being employed by these two players. Nerchio now adding on an evolution chamber and his own roach warren. Drone counts have stabilised to be pretty equal, but there's still more pressure coming in from Nerchio here. The natural base doesn't really have much in the way of defense. Roaches move down towards the third, and that's allowing Nerchio to stream up into the main. A few defensive Zerglings pop just in time here for sLivko, and so he shouldn't have too much trouble holding this off. Cleans it out, but the scout comes down. Nerchio sees everything. That's fine though, because sLivko has also got a complete scout down. Sees the spire, sees the lair, knows everything is on its way, and also knows the third's down. So both players very much aware of what their opponent is doing, but still both taking different approaches. Spore Crawlers coming down in a good number of them. You have to get a good number of Spore Crawlers down if you aren't going mutas yourself. But Pathogen Glands is also being shown. Pathogen Glands very potent against Mutalisks if they do clump up, but also Infestors and Roaches can be a very powerful push, which mutas will struggle to take out alone. So, how will these two strategies play out for these two? Well, for the moment, Nerchio is going to really take all of the map control. There's nothing really sLivko can do about that. His overlords are getting pulled back to safety, all clumping up here over a Spore Crawler, hugging up on that drone, just making sure that they're as safe can be. And Overseer will still get sniped off, which is a little bit frustrating, but it doesn't supply block sLivko for the moment. Now, the Mutalisks being used very effectively, trying to stay out of range of those spores, which literally hit like a freight train if you are a Mutalisk. But, well, Infestors revealed, Pathogen Glands is done, so they could have fungled, but the Mutalisks weren't clumped up at that stage, so sLivko instead opting to play it safe. Nerchio has his own infestation pit down now, he's getting his own Pathogen Glands, but sLivko adding in the Hydra Den, and this is where some very exciting stuff can start happening. Nerchio with just a cool little bit of use out of these Mutalisks, picking off creep tumors as they come across, using that Overseer to help. Good fungal growth just to lock down the Overseer, but unfortunately not going to get any kills, but still, it stopped Nerchio just having free reign for the moment. But I just want to take a second to show the player's vision. sLivko can see this tiny segment of his base. Nerchio has full vision of everything that's going on. Admittedly not in the middle of the map, but it's unlikely anything would be sneaking across. And having this vision is making Nerchio feel confident enough to take his 4th base. And as we all know, getting those additional gases when you're going for a Mutalisk heavy style is great. It's more Mutalisks per minute, and that's what's important. If you switch it up, get some Infestors and go Roach Hydra, that's also great. More gas is always good in later game situations, especially when you're getting a lot of Hydras, Infestors, or Mutalisks down, which are all very gas heavy. So, for the moment, we see that we've got Nerchio just still poking and prodding around, but with the Queens, with the Infestors there, and now the Hydra's making it to the field, he does have to be more cautious. It's not like these Mutalisks have been a massive investment though. Only 8 of them down, and he's just happy allowing really sLivko to just be defensive, be careful, and actually have to sit back, because it's given him the time to take this 4th. But sLivko is soon going to swing that on its head, as he's got a lot more roaches queued up. He's got a good number of Infestors. Both players currently sitting on 5 Infestors. I believe the energy for sLivko's is higher, as Nerchio's were down a lot later. Mutalisks trying to pick off the 4th base. For the moment, sLivko does not know about Nerchio's 4th, but his own mutas are still poking and prodding. Those Infestors looking like a good target. Are the fungal growths going to be good enough? Yes, they will. Where are the Hydralisks though? Well, they're nowhere to be seen, so Chain Fungus having to be used. One Infestor gets picked off, and that's always a really big win. All 8 Mutalisks survive. That means they can retreat back, heal up incredibly fast, and that's really where you start getting frustrated. Upgrade-wise, we are seeing the 1-1 is done on both sides with 2-2 on its way. Nerchio slightly ahead in that upgrade. He's also got the Groove Spine upgrade for his Hydralisks, just as we've seen sLivko do. Army supply though, and just overall supply, sLivko now maxing out 128 army supply. Can he do anything against this army though of Nerchio? Well, it's going to be interesting to see because they're both very similar. Better engagements currently for sLivko as he captures a few units, but the fungal growth from Nerchio are far better. Massive amounts of damage being done by those fungals, a better attack arc, and Nerchio just pushing in right where he should. Chain fungals on so many of the roaches, a crushing defeat there for sLivko, and Nerchio pushes on home. He's going to head for either the 4th or the 3rd base now, I would imagine. Just wants to take down those expansions. sLivko making some emergency roaches of his own. A lot of them coming out trying to defend. The important thing for Nerchio at the moment is to take out these expansions. If he can do that, he's going to be very, very happy. sLivko sitting back defending, knowing that he'll have a difficult time engaging this army without his infestors with energy on them. So, emergency spine crawlers on their way down. sLivko rallying more across the map. Both players currently sitting, well, at the same drone count, but it's the army supply that's very different. 130 to 88. These spines are essential to try and aid the defense. The fungal growth for sLivko have to be spectacular now. Can he do it? Well, Nerchio is coming and knocking. It's going to pull back, seeing just how many spines there are currently. But Nerchio has still got a big win by taking out that 4th. While he's not worried about the minerals, it's the gases. Interestingly, Nerchio doesn't have the 5th gas, the 8th gas as of yet, but I'm sure he'll be getting that soon if this push doesn't work out for him. He's coming in from both angles. The defensive position for sLivko better. He's getting some good fungals down there. Nerchio is pumping round the back though, and that is allowing him to get this complete surround. Even though sLivko has managed to thwart the attack coming up the right hand side, Nerchio still making good progress. Upgrades are 2-0 on both sides, but Nerchio still up in army supply by just over 40, which is very significant. Nerchio starts taking out a couple of overlords, picking off units as they come through, but his Hydra count a lot lower than it previously was. So Nerchio trading consistently well, losing about 4,500 less resources this game so far, but he's also mining a lot more resources, and that's what it's allowing him to max out very quickly. Already back up to 180 plus supply, going in towards the 3rd after all the static defenses move. And this is where Nerchio could get some really good damage done. If he takes out that 3rd, it would be disastrous. GG call from sLivko, as he knows he cannot contend with that army, and Nerchio will advance forward 2-1.